All right. I think everything is working. Hi, everyone. This is Kalia with Green Party Tea, where we spill the tea on all things Green Party. So, as you can see, I did what I said I was going to do, and I have StreamYard now, but I'm still working out everything and how it goes. So, again, I thank everyone who comes in and works with me because you guys know my technology struggle, but I'm working it out and I have some great people helping me and things like that. So allow me some more time, but I can guarantee you all what I do have in store is we will be interviewing candidates coming up very, very soon. So I'm excited. Once we start interviewing candidates and having more information about the election going on, this is going to be a really good time. And speaking of candidates, we had some really good candidates come out that I didn't get to talk to you guys about last Sunday, but this Sunday I am. We had Anthony Aguilar, who is actually in North Carolina. We live in the same city. Oh my goodness. Once I found out who he was and what he did, if you're not familiar, you can Google Anthony Aguilar, and he is the whistleblower from the army or military. And the story kind of hit me very, very hard, and because I talked with a lot of those families on YouTube and other places, not YouTube, I'm sorry, TikTok before, or we'll talk about that later. But I did talk to a lot of families from Gaza and helping them. And what he said was a little boy had came up to him. They were looking for food, and he was just like, "Thank you so, so very much." And then, not even 10 minutes later, he was gone because one of the IOF soldiers or somebody, a mercenary, whatever the case may be, they took his life. And that has to be a story that happened in Gaza, but it also happens, right here at home as well. You can have a child like Tamir Rice, who is doing what children normally would do, which is play with toy guns. I mean, somebody's making them, so they have the ability to play with toy guns. And now he's gone. Police officers did not take a whole minute to just talk to him and see what's going on. They came out that car, guns a-blazing, and they took his life. So when I think about that, I think about Tamir, and I think about what that would have as an impact on my life to see it live and just be there knowing that a few minutes ago I was holding your hand or, just being there for you. And so when I found out that this Anthony that I had been talking to was the Anthony that I had been like, oh my gosh, about, it was like, oh my goodness. It's kind of like you know, being celebrity shocked or whatever the word is, but not so on the celebrity side, more like on the you're a hero for being that whistleblower who told us what was going on in Gaza. So really appreciative of him being able and willing to come forward and say, hey, this is not right. What we're doing is not right, and we have to do better. So congratulations to Anthony Aguilar. He is running for Congressional District 13, in which we both live. And I really anticipate he's going to have a great race. I believe his website is aguilarforcongress.com. So you'll be able to look into that. And right on the other side of him, because in North Carolina, we have District 13. They redistrict the out of this state, okay? So bad. So where they have District 13, it's a couple of counties. Counties, plural. It's a couple of counties. So it's like a lot of farming areas. It's just like a lot of hometown working people, like the place that I live in. It's a big little city. That's what I like to call it, because it has the elements of wanting to be like a medium-sized city, but it also has farms. And like down the street from where I am, they have a petting farm. It's not a zoo, it's a farm because it's farm area, but they have emus and they have horses and pigs and all types of animals there, and it is absolutely wonderful. One time, that bull that's down the street got loose in front of the high school where my kids are supposed to go to, like the week we were moving here. So it was very funny. But this is what I'm saying. You don't get bulls running loose in a lot of different places. So this is kind of like a big little city, kind of like country area, and I love it. And this is the constituents that he will be dealing with, and so it's important and vital that he is letting his constituents know that I will stand up for you. When I see injustice, I will call it out. I won't sit back and just ignore your pleas in Congress. And the thing about what we're doing in North Carolina is right on the other side of 13 is District 2. So if you remember the election for 2024, we had Michael Dublin running in District 2 against the horrible, horrible, very bad Deborah Ross. Okay. So Deborah Ross is someone that has taken money from corporate PACs and other foreign entities. She has voted for money for Israel so many times. It's just, she's set in Netanyahu's face. Need I say more? So Michael's race is against a Democrat. Anthony's is against a Republican. And to me, that goes to, and the Republican did the same thing. So it's not like I'm saying Brad Knott is a stand-up guy. We already know that. Brad Knott is not going to be any better than Deborah Ross. So with that being said, we have an opposition from a Democrat and Republican. And that goes to people that say, oh, you only come against the Democrats. No, we come against injustice. We come against people not doing what they should do. And that's where we're at with everything. So what we want to see is a win, but not just a win in Congress, because I told you that was District 13. And so that was Aguilar for Congress.com in District 13. And you have Dublin for Congress.com in District 2. Okay. We're not stopping there. We're going on up to the U.S. Senate seat that is currently held by Tom Tillis, but he is retiring. Now, some folks remember I had been saying that Tom Tillis can talk about he wants to get rid of the head of DHS or any of these programs, but Tom Tillis is also not worried about reelection. So he can basically say whatever he want to say. He's like in his lame duck season, and he was a lame duck when he was already there in the Senate anyway. So he's just doing whatever he wants to do. They were already upset with him, kind of like the Marjorie Taylor Greene issue, but not as big because he wasn't as much of a traitor as they say. So that being said, we have Brian McGinnis running for Senate. And I like it because it's like Brian McGinnis for U.S. Senate. It kind of rhymes to me when it rolls off your tongue. So he is running for Tom Tillis's seat. We're not just running for House. We are running for Senate. We are running to change Congress to green. And that's what we need to do, because you're going to need help on both sides of the congressional aisle. You can't just have congressmen in the House, because that House bill has to go to the Senate. And the Senate also has to pass the bill. So in those terms, we're going to need Green Party members on both sides of the aisle. And that's what we're talking about. So in North Carolina, we have that going on with some other elections that are be coming up. So we have our convention actually coming up this weekend on the 7th, I believe. Let me check that date. Yes, it's on the 7th. So we're having the convention on the 7th. And if you remember, I talked about last week, since we were essentially a new party, we are going to have a convention to select the candidates that will go on the North Carolina ballot as Green Party members. So I can't say who all else might be on the ballot at this point in time, but I can guarantee you that next Sunday when I come back for more Green Party tea, I will have that tea for you. So stay tuned. Now, we also had a really, 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 really big name out in Texas, Greg Stoker. Now, I was like, oh my gosh, is this like military everywhere? Because they're coming all out in droves. And apparently it is, because Michael Dublin was a Marine, Anthony Aguilar was Army, and Brian McGinnis was a Marine. And now you have Greg Stoker coming in, prior military. It's just like, okay, we have people, and I know some people doubt, the military connection. But I get your grievance and I understand because we are a non-violent party. We do not do any of that. I get those grievances. I get your side of it. People can grow, people can have differences, and people can want to do things that feed their family or provide things for them as well. Um, that is their personal preference. But I would say get to know the candidate versus the work that they did. And get to know why they did the work if you're still in arms about it. There's going to be town halls going on from all our congressmen. And I'm pretty sure Greg Stoker is going to have some going on. They have been on interviews. If you haven't seen Greg or Anthony on interviews, please just Google them. You will see them on so many interviews. Sabby Saz, Brianna Gray Joy, Breaking Point. They've been on so many different places and they're continuing to get out there. So talk to them, ask them, go to their campaign website and try to get in contact with them via email or however you can to say, this is my concern. How can you address it? And see if they will address it in one of the town halls that they have coming up, because that's what's important. We want that to happen. And that's not just, I'm not just talking about North Carolina. I'm talking about all over, because we don't just have Greg Stoker. We also have Justin Phillip. And let me tell you, Justin is a wonderful, wonderful person. He is not just running his campaign. He is a champion and a supporter of so many other campaigns because he understands the importance of us winning seats in Congress. That gives us a Green Party caucus. That gives us the ability to say, yes, we're going to say no every single time, and we're not letting our foot up. We're going to keep our foot on your neck every single time because we don't have to side anywhere. We're going to do that anyway, even if we get one person in Congress. But it gives people so much more hope when they know you are not the only one. There is someone that's going to back you. When you walk out of those congressional halls, you will have somebody to walk out with. So when we're talking about running on that congressional level, we can't just talk about one race. Whereas when we're talking about state and local levels, we can talk about one race. We can talk about the, state Senate race, because you're going to make an impact more at home with one race than you would in the congressional federal level. So that's one of the biggest things that I like to tell people. When we're talking about federal, we need numbers. When we are talking state and local, we need people, period. Okay? Because a lot of people don't understand, especially in off even years. Let me explain what I mean. There is an election every single year, and not all elections are held in November. To break that down, some cities and states hold certain elections for certain positions, whether it be city council or any of those other things. They hold them in off even years, so odd years. So 2025, they just had elections for city council in some places and all these other things. And then they have the even years. This is 2026, but notice there's no presidential election. So when these things happen, these are your most important votes. Everybody thinks that the president is the most important vote, and by golly gee whiz, Trump has shown us beyond a shadow of a doubt that the president can do some damage. Okay. And he's shown us like we never had thought before, but we knew. So to put that in perspective, when any of the other Democrats were in office, because everybody says that we pick on Republicans, when any of the other Democrats were in office, they could have been doing executive orders the same way that he's doing these executive orders, but they didn't. And they were trying to achieve that politically correct look, like, oh, I can do it, but it's not right for me to do it. And Trump was like, I can do it, so I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to do it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sue me, and that's it. So what it means is that the Democrat Party was ineffective for the people that they say they were representing, and the Republicans are still ineffective for the people that vote for them, the majority of the people that vote for them, because they didn't do things that were in their best interest. Yeah. hmm So if you listen to the words that came out of my mouth, you will see the difference. You will understand, and you will know that neither party is for you. Neither party wants to see you do better and do well. Neither party wants to see you have health care that doesn't cost an arm and a leg and an eyeball to be able to get another eyeball. That's really what we have going on. So, in that case, enter the Green Party. A lot of people give us that, oh, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I'm going to say this and I'm going to hold your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. There's no such thing as a spoiler alert. No such thing. No spoilers. Nothing. They wouldn't have voted for you anyway. Think about it. How many independents are registered in your state right now? And how many of them didn't vote at all? Yeah, you weren't going to get that vote. So don't be mad at the Green Party. We didn't do that. You did not earn their votes, and you don't have the right to their vote. So our candidates between Arshia in Texas too. Arshia, he's going to be coming on our show at some point in time. We have Arshia and Justin, and we have Greg, and we have Anthony, and we have Brian, and we have Michael, and we have a slate, a very good team of Congress members, potential Congress members, congressional candidates that can go right there in Congress and do the things that we need to do on that side of the aisle. So, and then if you ever have time, you can verify a lot of things that I say, not a lot, but a lot, but on gp.org. And I will put that in the chat if I may. I was trying to, but it won't let me put it in the chat. So I will miss me. But anyway, so it's gp.org. And what they will have is information at the top where it says elections. And you can look up our past wins, because a lot of people do not believe that we actually have people in office. We do. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go take a look at it. I want you to actually go like and subscribe right here on YouTube or on Instagram, wherever you're watching me. Thank you. But I want you to go to gp.org, and I want you to actually look at how many people, how many Greens have run for and won office. And what I can tell you is we won about 50%, almost 50% of the campaigns that we ran in the 2024 cycle. So, and speaking of the local and state candidates, have you seen Butch Ware? Butch Ware went from 2% to 5%. Butch Ware has gotten an endorsement by the Honorable Nina Turner. Butch Ware has said, I am coming out the gate and I am not stopping. And he has. So these are those local races that we're talking about. State races that we're talking about that don't happen in a presidential year, but are just as essential. Okay, look at what Gavin Newsom is doing right now. Who's going to vote for that guy? No one. But look at the things that he's saying, and imagine he was once governor. Oh my gosh. But then you have the intelligent Dr. Rudolph Ware, who is coming at you with everything he has to become governor of California. That is and I have actually met him, so it felt so wonderful. I got to meet him in person during the last election, 2024, when he was running as vice president with Jill Stein, who was running as a presidential candidate for the Green Party at that time. And that is a genuine public servant, not a politician. We don't have politicians in the Green Party, and those are his words. We have public service, and he is a genuine public servant. And he is going against ranked choice voting. And ranked choice voting is something where people will be able to say, hey, if there's 4 choices, I want to pick A, B, C, D. I don't just have to pick one. And by the number of votes that are going in, they have a ranking system. And I will give you, I'll try to get political Mike on here so we could talk about it another time. But I've already talked about ranked choice voting. So please look up ranked choice voting. I'm giving you homework today, ladies and gentlemen, homework. So look up ranked choice voting. You will see us there. And well, not us, but you'll see information about ranked choice voting so you can get familiar with it. What we don't like is that California does have the jungle primaries where it's like everybody's fighting to get to the top two. There is no anything else. Instead of it being closed primaries where, okay, if you have the Democrats, Republicans, Greens, Libertarians, Freedom Party, House Party, Mama's Party. You got all these parties, okay? Notice I'm talking about more than just the establishment parties. I'm talking about third parties galore. So if you have all of these parties, they have a chance to have a closed primary that is still ranked choice. And then when you get to the general election, you still have an option to go where you want to that is still ranked choice. That's what we want. Because at this point in time, when you have a jungle primary, it means that only the people with the top two are going to go into the general. I like choices, okay? I like to say, I definitely don't want to go with you, but I might want to go with that one. If I can't go with this one, I'll pick that one. So it really not only takes away the spoiler, it also takes the lesser of two evils out of the picture. Because imagine having a jungle primary, only two get to the top. Well, what if it's always the establishment two getting to the top? Then I am literally still picking from the least of the two evils, and they're really still evil. And so we are going to support Butch Ware in all his endeavors. I think it's butchwareforgovernor.com. And we're going to keep supporting because why not? Why not? We need to get him on a debate stage so you can actually see what this man has in store for California. If you believe that Mom Donnie, and this is what I said this the other day when I was on the Green live stream with Scott, that's also hosted by Edie. I said, if you see somebody and they are getting donations and it says Act Blue, always expect them to act blue. And blue acts no different from green, except for they are hugging you while stabbing you in the back instead of just stabbing you in the chest. That is the only difference. So while I do like some of the things that Mom Donnie has implemented, I also know that he is going to act blue at a certain point in time, which is not in my nature. So, you know, I don't have a lot of high hopes because we've seen how progressives end up progressing into acting blue. AOC, I'm talking about you. Yeah, AOC Pelosi. Talking about you, ma'am. Who said that she didn't know anything about the Green Party, even though she canvassed for us? How touching. So, with that being said, please check out Butch Ware. Please check them out over there in California. And we have so many people. Oh, Edie, I just talked about Edie. She's also running for lieutenant governor in Illinois, and Griselda is running for governor in Illinois. Ha! So yeah, we have state races, we have local races, we have people at a lot of different levels of governance in the Green Party. We just need to get this federal in there. We got to get this federal in there so that we can start making changes on those stages. Because as you can see, so many votes have come out where the Democrats overwhelmingly align with the Republicans. But you can know that the Green Party candidates are going to only align with the 4 pillars and 10 key values of the Green Party. That's what you get when you vote for a Green Party candidate. You have those types of people going in there and upholding those values and pillars for you. You don't have a corporate backed yes man or yes woman. You have an actual public servant that says, is this going to do well for my constituents, and is this morally not bankrupt? I'm just saying, if you didn't draw the line at genocide, where will you draw the line? because we're seeing it right now with all the ice raids that are going on. Oh, this was okay in Gaza, right? These are the same tactics that were used in Gaza, that are being used in Gaza. Because if you thought that there was a ceasefire, what you're getting is disinformation, distraction. There is no actual ceasefire. Okay. So what's happening here at home is has been what's happening in Gaza, in Palestine, and what they are telling you is what they've been telling you all along. If it's going to happen there, it can very well happen here. And now we're seeing it. And they want to make training facilities where our police officers get trained by the IOF. And I'll explain the difference in terms. So, is not real calls it the IDF, or the Israeli Defense Force. Well, what are they defending themselves from? When you have a space that you've occupied, because colonizers are going to colonize, when you have a space that you have occupied and you literally control it, they have water, electricity, food, materials to build, you control their movements in and out of an area. What are you protecting yourself from? Backlash? That's what you should be protecting yourself from. But instead, you have bombs galore. Bombs over Baghdad, as the song went by Outkast. You have bombs and fighter jets and all this other stuff, and it's like, you wouldn't be trying to defend yourself this heavily if you weren't doing something wrong. And then when I say that, I mean, so you're bombing Syria, you're bombing Lebanon, you are bombing Iran. I mean, they might Iraq you. It's a play on words because, Iraq. Please don't report me because that's rude. Anyway, and you're bombing the West Bank and Gaza. So if you can fight all of these wars on all of these fronts, you got some strong allies, I tell you that much. We're talking about you, Jordan. Talking about you little Egypt. Yeah, and the UAE too. Stop going to Dubai. Don't even buy their chocolates. Anyway, and then you have the US, who believes so strongly in those little bunker buster bombs that did less than I would do to a pint of ice cream when I'm very, very sad. So, yeah. So they don't call them the IDF. They call them the IOF, the Israeli Offensive Forces, because they are offending a lot of people. Why do they keep going to Lebanon? Because they want that land. Of course, all these places that they're attacking, they want something from. It's called a land. And then they want to normalize conversations and talks with them so that they can propagandize everything you see. And who is standing in place? Yemen. Our Yemeni folks, shout out to you. I know you don't like the Houthi term, so I apologize, but they are our cousins indeed, and we salute our Yemeni cousins because they have stood 10 toes down. If I have to do anything, give me someone from Yemen to do it with, okay? Because I know that they will not turn their back on me. And that's what we want to see. We don't want to see this pretend stuff. Oh, we gotta no. When it's up, then it's stuck. Thank you, Cardi B. When it's up, then it's stuck, and there's no turning back. You taking out my brothers, I'm gonna take out yours because that's not right. Get them folks some food. Okay. So when we talk about those kind of things, we have to also bring in the Congo, of course, because if you're not talking about the Democratic Republic of Congo, then what are you talking about? You're talking about the lungs, the second biggest force with the lungs of the world there. And you're talking about your cell phones and the devices that you use stuff on, like computers and TVs. So if you're not talking about the Democratic Republic of Congo, please start talking about it. And just remember, there are 2-year-olds mining an unsafe condition. A 2-year-old, first of all, if you ever had a toddler do anything for you, if they are not potty trained, some of them can't even be potty trained by 2, why are they in the mine digging up anything? Okay, let's just start there. And then we also have Sudan. Oh, my Sudan. Um, so many things going on. And I understand in Palestine, we say, okay, we know who our enemies are that are doing these bad things. But in the Congo and Sudan, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know where it is. And I don't know what's going on. And there's so many different sides, and it's their government versus their military. It's this, that, and the third. Whoever funds you runs you. Thank you, Butch Ware. And that is what you have to understand. You may not be able to see it on the surface because it looks one way, but that's what they want you to see, distraction. So when you are like, well, it's the government versus the military, what do you want us to do? They're fighting each other. Who's funding them? How many gun manufacturers are in one place? Where did they get this type of weaponry from? And why is Dubai the city of gold and they have no gold mines? Let's talk about it. What'd you say? Oh yeah, they're playing into UAE. We see you. We boycott you. Thank you. And so then we have other places that are still going through the struggle. Cuba. Hey, my Cubanos. Hello. We have Cuba, who has been under these tyrannical blockades for I don't know how many years, but they still have better health care than we do. Yes, that Cuba. That Cuba with a better, life cycle than the U.S. has. And then we have Haiti. What did they just do over there in Haiti? Have you heard anything else about it? I bet you haven't. But they all did want to say that they were thugs over there, didn't they? But guess what? There's a Green Party over there, if you didn't know that. And there's, I believe, one building in Gaza as well, because they did endorse Jill Stein for president. Yeah, bet you didn't know that. There are Green Parties across the country. So that brings that into that Haiti having a Green Party. And then we get down to Venezuela. Get them back their president. Take Trump instead. Get them back our president. Well, their president. Yeah. Because that's not right. We shouldn't have other people's presidents here on American soil. That's what we have the International Criminal Court for. And we're trying to figure out why Netanyahu's getting able to sit comfortably in his own home when he's wanted by them. But you're going to go and get this president from Venezuela. I'm not saying that the man is right. What I'm saying is you have no right to take this man. That's what I said. Not only did he take him, he took his wife. She said she wasn't going to leave him. And I understand that because, anything could happen. I would have went with my husband too. I love you, baby. However, get them people their president back. That's for them to deal with. Just because y'all could not enact the coup that y'all wanted to happen does not mean you get to steal people. You're kidnappers. You did not do this legally. This is kidnapping, illegal holding of an individual. But I guess it doesn't matter. And please, when we're talking about the narrative of what has happened, don't say it's all this administration's fault. It's not. This genocide started under the Biden administration. So let's not go there. And these things really started forming and shaping place under the Obama administration. I know that, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to hold your hand again. I'm a Black woman, and I too had hope. And that hope was deferred. Okay. It dried up like a raisin in the sun. It did. Because when I found out that his biggest scandal was not a tan suit, it was all the things that he had done, I was disillusioned. I was disappointed. But I thank President Obama. I thank him so very much, not for anything that he did, because the first 2 years that he was in office, he could have passed legislation that would have helped everybody. He could have codified Roe versus Wade. He could have codified a lot of things into office that are, if I just talked about him, I wouldn't stop talking all day. He could have given us that universal health care or Medicare for all that everybody's asking for, but he didn't. He wanted to play with the Republicans. And look at what we got. a mess. So, why do I thank him? Because if it wasn't for him, I might not have discovered the Green Party. I'm not going to say I never would have, but I might not have discovered the Green Party. So, I thank him wholeheartedly. Another person I thank, the second person I'd like to thank on that list is Hillary Clinton. She wouldn't have ran for office and not taken Trump seriously. Uh, I might, not have found the Green Party as quickly, but mm, yeah. So thank you to you too, because I was never going to go Republican. That wasn't going to happen, and I am too soft-hearted. Yes, I said soft-hearted to be a libertarian. No offense to anyone, but things are things, and I'm not a capitalist. I'm a socialist, so eco-socialist, be exact. So I wasn't going to go from one person who gave Israel the Iron Dome to another person that I have to wonder what goes on in her dome. So, no, I voted for Jill Stein, who was running at that time. That was my first time voting for a Green Party candidate, and I actually was happy with my vote. I didn't have to go in there and be like, I'm voting blue no matter who, because what else am I going to do? I went in there and I did my Green Party vote. And for all the other places, I wrote in myself, my husband, or the dog down the street because, hey, it wasn't going to matter one way or another. And you can get mad and say that was a waste of vote all you want to. But at the end of the day, it was my vote and my voice. My voice said I don't like either of these choices, so I'm going to pick something else. And that is what I have the right, the unequivocal right to do. And I exercise my right to do so, while some people exercise their right not to do so as well. They stayed home. Okay. And for people who say, oh, you shouldn't stay home, you should do this, you should do that, what the people are saying to you is give them somebody to want to vote for. And then when we have the Green Party candidates or whatever other third party candidates that are out there trying to get on the ballot, trying to do everything, the duopoly knocks them down by making up frivolous lawsuits to kick them off the ballot, knowing that it's going to take them resources that they don't have because they don't take corporate money, or they make up unimaginable ways that you have to get on the ballot for ballot access. And we did say we're going to talk about ballot access, but with only less than half an hour left in the show, we're not ready for a ballot access thing, I promise, because ballot access is a tizzy. So we are talking about our green candidates, these spoilers and the things that we love about them. So we love a good fresh candidate. We have women running, we have men running, we have non-binary, we have others running. So you can't say, oh, you're only doing this, that, and the third. No, we have every type of person running. Down in, I believe it's Texas again. And this is the one thing I did want to do because I just found out about this gentleman the other day. So let me see if I can get his name actually. Goodness gracious, I got a lot of notifications. Goodness. I'm gonna find his name, but he's another person running for Congress for the Green Party. And I said, you know what? I see that we are fielding out a really good field of people who are going to be able to do something. And Texas is getting their people out there. And I love to see it. I really do actually love to see it. So keep going, Texas. Keep going. You are doing a lot, and we appreciate the lot that you are doing. So don't stop. Don't stop. And I think I almost got to the name of the person, but it's not letting me see everything. But I will find it. And it made me realize that we can keep going as much as we want to, because at the end of the days, and like I said, at the end of the days, we have that one fight that we are all fighting for, and that's us. And if you don't know what I mean by us, what I mean is that you don't have to be someone who can put more into a certain type of system. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of disabled people, there are children, there are a lot of people who don't put themselves into those working places where they're ever going to be able to afford uh, to be a part of society in people's eyes. But what you will know is that we all deserve a right to be here, and we have the right to the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have a right to have food and water and clothing and be educated. And those are some of the things that people have to remember, that if you want to look at people and get all of those things, you might just want to um, understand that it can happen if you allow it to happen. Okay. And when I say that, what I mean by it is being socialist versus capitalist is exactly the type of thing that we have to change. Okay. You see, capitalists have these people who make all of that money at the top. Okay. They're making all the money, and it is not trickling down. What is the minimum wage in your state? Has it changed in the last 10 to 20 years? Who is getting richer? Who is getting poorer? Are your expenses going up while your income is not moving or essentially going down? So we have to look at those things because they do, in fact, matter. Um, and what I'll say also to all of that is, you guys are doing the work, you're laying the foundation. Even if you're not quite sure that you are a Green Party member, if you are standing up to the duopoly, if you are understanding, hey, this is not what I wanted in life, and I'm going to change how I do things, then you are that person. That is us. And so the guy that I was talking about is Espoir Ngoba. He is running for U.S. Congressional District 7 in Texas. And he says, as a child survivor of the Congolese genocide, I came to Houston as a refugee at 5 years old. I'm running for Congress to fight for justice and human rights in Texas and around the world. The Green Party isn't afraid to speak truth to power, and neither am I. So we thank you, all of these members, for doing these wonderful things. And he even says he's grassroots. He wants to abolish ICE, LGBTQ rights, one state solution for Palestine, and he is an eco-socialist. Those are the things that we want to hear, see, and talk about when we are talking about how wonderful it is. And um, knowing that he's somebody that is a survivor of the Congolese genocide. And remind you, I told you before that they're mining cobalt, coltan, all these things at 2 years old. So we don't know what he was doing in that Congolese genocide at 5 years old. We don't know what he's seen, but we can tell that he doesn't want to see it again, because he's not only fighting for the Congolese people, he's fighting for oppressed people everywhere, and that's what we all need to do. And speaking of that well bought out oiled machine of oppression, it's that time of year, guys. If you don't know what time of year it is, I don't know what to essentially tell you, because it is the most wonderful time of the year. Black History Month, guys. It is officially February the 1st, so it is Black History Month. So what I want to see from you all, guys, if you will, go to my link tree, send me an email. Let me know what you're doing in your state for your Green Party or your caucus for the month of Black History. Now, we all know that we think that Black History got shafted by having the lowest count of number of days, but that wasn't the case. It was about birthdays and all that other good stuff. That is a part of knowing your history. And with all this DEI discrimination, because whoever thought that you would discriminate against DEI, we are seeing a different type of Black History Month this year. So research over me search, as my friend Consciously would say, And know that when you are going into this month of Black History, do it with some reverence, because there are people who are going through what we have been going through since the Jim Crow days of old. And there are still people alive from those days. So let's not act like that's not there, like the Tulsa bombings and things. Well, not the Tulsa bombings, but the things of that nature. So there are still survivors, just like Mr. Ngabo is, of genocides. Okay. Like, if you don't think that they were trying to take us out, please understand they were. Have you heard of Lake Lanier? Hello. So anyway, during this Black History Month, do some research, do some soul searching, and understand that Black history doesn't start with being enslaved. Let's We are survivors, yes, definitely survivors, but that's not the story or the complete story. There are wonderful things that happen before, during, and after. Some people lost a voice, only for other ancestors to find a voice. And now we can't stop letting our voice be heard. So I've seen a lot of narratives about how Black people can be so calm during this time, and sharing memes, and doing these funny things about their lives and stuff, because we've been through this. We've had to laugh through worse. Trayvon Martin, hello. Philando Castile, Breonna Taylor, and Sonia Massey, whose executioner got 20 years of prison. We've been there. We're still going through it. Definitely we are. Just like the Palestinians are still going through it. Since they put is not real there, because it didn't exist. Like, go into the Bible and you'll see it. But anyway, so we've been there. We've done that. We're still going through that. We understand the fight. We understand the marches that need to happen, like George Floyd. We understand it all. Don't think we're sitting out. Well, some people are. I'm not even gonna cap on that. And I said no cap. Yay, my children. I said it right. But the point of it is that we have a lot of people who are not just tired. This is their life work. Like, they don't get to do this just because something is happening. They do this every day. They walk into a hostile office because they have locks in their hair. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that part. My hair to some would be called unkempt and distracting and not suitable for workplace. That is a reality that people have to deal with every day. Or people saying, oh my gosh, you smell like curry. I smell like good food. What do you smell like? Let's talk about it. All right. They've had to come up with those type of narratives because they get so much pushback about who they are. Just being alive and breathing is violence to other people. My life, my being is not violent. So during all of these times, we're out there, we're helping, just like that one little guy that decided, oh, I'm going to have a Nazi parade right out here. And the only person to help that man was a Black person. Because everybody else is trying to take him out. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. So it doesn't matter what the global majority, the global majority mainly have the outlook of what the Green Party stances are. We're just trying to be on this earth for the long or short life that we have, and do it learning things to do well and prosper, but not at the expense of other people, because that doesn't make sense. And colonization has run rampant in the minds of so many that we have to get back to understanding and knowing that we don't have to be this way. We can be different. We can be better. And I this Black History Month, I'm hoping that the layers of colonization are peeled back even more, so people can see It is a life destructing thing. I mean, you're living, if you're in the United States and you're watching this, you are living on colonized land. And when we're talking about these immigrants, these illegals, no one is illegal on stolen land. Even the people that helped build this place by force. We have to look at the indigenous folks whose land this was and the people who helped to build it, who didn't ask to be here. So, again, we're going into a Black History Month, and I hope that everybody takes the time to read a book. Read a book about Black history, whether it be real or not. Parable of the Sower is something that I recommend to a lot of people because not only will it give you that sense of what's going on, but it also gives you that sense of what can be. There are a lot of books out there that I would recommend, and I'll have book recommendations throughout the month. But this one today is Parable of the Sower. Speaking of a book, there is a butterfly in the sky that goes twice as high. But what you have to do is take a look because it's in a book. Reading Rainbow has come back with Michael Threet. And if you don't know him, he's the lovable library guy. And I am celebrating him on this Black History Month for being open about mental health struggles, being open about remembering the children of Sandy Hook, being open about library joy. Because library joy is something that a lot of children don't understand. As my mom was a librarian at Fayetteville State University, literally all of my life. I grew up as a library kid and I have lots of library joy. I've probably read more books than I can count. However, Reading Rainbow is back with Michael Threet, and I thoroughly enjoy him. I love what he's done with the show. I love the new theme song. It's the same theme song, but it's sung with a flair, and I really do love it. So if you haven't seen the new Reading Rainbow, please, it's Black History Month. Go see that brother and give him that thumbs up and that encouragement and that boost he need. Like and follow him just like you should like and follow me on social media. Hey guys, I am on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, so we are broadcasting in both places today. Hopefully everything is going great, and I will be here just to let you all know the tea about the Green Party at all points and times, and that the Green Party actually does have a platform for Black Americans. Oh my gosh. I'm actually a member of the National Black Caucus of the Green Party, and I am one of the co-chairs, along with Michael Dublin, of the Black Caucus of the North Carolina Green Party. So I have gotten a comment before saying that the Green Party needs to reach out to the Black community. Well, Black community, let me shake your hand because I'm reaching out to you. I want you to know that the Green Party, the North Carolina Green Party, all the state Green parties in whole do have something out there for Black Americans. And guess what? It doesn't just start because of something else. That is in the platform. That is a foundation. Okay. So you can go to gp.org/platform and look up the things that are there because lineage-based cash reparations is something that is there. Yeah, you heard what I said. Lineage-based cash reparations. And they're not talking about doing research, my guy. What they're actually talking about is giving payouts because the research has been done. We know what needs to be done. We know that it can be done. But who is going to be the Congress and the president that says it will be done? And that's why voting green is very, very much the thing to do. Because not only is it recognition, but the apology that is needed. If the Chinese Americans that were put into those concentration camps, if the Jewish members get reparations, and nothing against any of these people. The point of the matter is reparations have been given, so reparations can be given. Just like the indigenous people deserve their treaties to be recognized and deserve some land back. Yeah, I said it. We have things that we deserve to. And that does not mean a trip back to Africa like a lot of people would like to say. No. Okay. What it means is we get that recognition that we deserve. We get that apology that is also deserved. And we know that our ancestors can sleep well in all their endeavors because what they endured was enough to have to deal with for a lifetime. But there is race based stress disorder, and it is something that is commonly misconstrued with post traumatic stress disorder. But the thing about post traumatic stress disorder, it happens after a stressful time. But with race based stress disorders, it's just based on who you are as a person, because you might not know what the looks are, you might not understand what it is, but something in your soul is telling you, don't go down that road. It's too dark. Don't do this, because having to give your children that talk. When you go out, you can't act a certain way. When you see a police officer, use all the manners that you have. But they see people online, kicking, screaming, and doing all types of stuff at police officers. But they know they're not going to get that same treatment. When they have to understand that I'm a child, I knocked on the wrong door and now I've been shot. Why? What did I do? That's not post-traumatic. That's race-based stress disorder. So we have to not just say what happened in the past, but what is something that is ingrained into the DNA, because it is. It is ingrained in your DNA. And we are losing a lot of our leaders. Asada Shakur, oh, that was a heavy moment. But we have more leaders stepping up day by day, like Mr. Ngabu and Michael Dublin and so many others that have been through the trenches. And they are saying, look, we are going to do something and we're going to make things change. So to our National Black Caucus members, hello, hi, and I love you guys. To the North Carolina Green Party Black Caucus, it's so wonderful to be able to communicate with you guys and know that we got us. We had a member just casually talk about something, and we got us, we did that, and we're happy for it. And with Michael Dublin's campaign, the Black Caucus of the North Carolina Green Party will be hosting hikes of justice with him. So we are going to have like a candidate meet and greet while we're out on a hike, and we'll be going to some springs in the area so we can collect free spring water. Bring your gallon water containers, or bigger. It doesn't matter what kind of container you bring, as long as it's clean. So yeah, we're going to be doing that because we, as the Black delegation, as they say, we want to ensure that we continue to do this thing with nature, because that's something that is ingrained in us as well. As a lot of us remember in our tellings and teachings of the people with cornrows, they would cornrow rice grains in their hair as they went to different places, so they would be able to plant that rice. So we are not just interconnected through time, we are interconnected through soil, and we want to get back to where we are doing those things. And I'm not a bungee jumper, dangerous type of person to be out in nature. I'm gonna tell you that now. I'll never go up on a mountain. Will I go up one of those stone walls? Absolutely. Mountain? Not unless I'm driving. And probably still not then, because I'll be afraid I'm going to fall down. I'm not the dangerous type, but some are. Have fun with your hikes. I'm just going to stay on level ground and, get in tune with the nature. Hope a butterfly lands on my finger or something like that. But happy Black History Month to all. I hope you do learn something. The book of the day that we have for this week of Black History Month is The Parable of the Sower. Let me get the author. I forgot her name, and I'll be honest with you and say that I forgot it because, Parable of the Sower is by Octavia E. Butler, and I love Octavia Butler. But that's a whole nother day for a whole nother story. However, just remember that you can always watch me here on YouTube or IG as I'm streaming simultaneously, and look more for me to upgrade and do different things and have our guests coming on that will be interviewing as the candidates and others with the Green Party, because we spill the tea here, and we are going to keep doing that because that's what's most important. We're going to clean up all that misinformation that you hear and give you information about what's going on with other Green parties. So if you're a Green Party, a chapter, caucus, or state is doing something, please let us know and we will talk about it right here on Green Party Tea. Until next week, guys, bye. Have fun. Smell you later.